collaboration with the Cyprus Mail. This is the Cyprus News Digest with Rosie Charalambous.
This week's programme is very much education, 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 as German Language Month kicks off, and we speak to a couple of the organisers, like the Swiss Ambassador.
If you take the Europe of the European Union, German is the most spoken language.
The Austrian Ambassador.
Most studies you don't have an entrance exam and you don't have fees.
And a teacher of German here in Cyprus.
That's one of the weaknesses of our educational system.
Stepping away for a moment from education, it is Movember.
Movember Cyprus actually supports Europa Womo, which is a local organization which it's basically men who had already had the prostate cancer.
And finishing with education this time in the UK, as the UK Education Fair kicks off in a week or two.
We are happy enough to announce that nothing has changed so far, and nothing will change, at least for the students entering studies in the UK in 2017. These students going to study to the UK will benefit from the existing home fee and also from the available loans at both undergraduate and postgraduate levels.
The month of German language was inaugurated earlier this week, and there are all sorts of cultural events going on that promote the German language. It's co-organised by the embassies of Germany, Austria and Switzerland. The Swiss Ambassador to Nicosia, His Excellency Peter Reinhardt, joins us now. Peter, what is the idea behind a German language month? Because actually German isn't yet taught in Cypriot schools, but I think a lot of people take private lessons with a view to studying in Germany.
That's right. And of course we hope that more people would learn German in the future, because we think that German is an important language. I think if you take the Europe of the European Union, German is the most spoken language. And if you take the most used language, German comes second, about at the same level as French after English.
And Switzerland, of course, people don't realise how many Swiss, I think it's the majority of your population, are native German speakers. It's their mother tongue.
I think in Switzerland they would realise it's the majority, about 2/3 of the people have German as their mother tongue. 1/4 about use French and 1/10 Italian. Besides, you have Rheto-Romanic spoken by relatively few people in the southeastern corner of Switzerland.
And how did the origins of this German language month begin in Cyprus between the three embassies? Because you obviously cooperate very closely.
That's right. We did in the last couple of years, but we hope that we can do even more so in the future by organising events in whatever field, be it culture, be it education or others.
And that is His Excellency Peter Reinhardt, the Swiss Ambassador to Nicosia, talking at the inauguration of German Language Month. Austria, of course, is a German-speaking nation. Joining us to talk about the importance not just of the language but of the culture of the Germanic world is His Excellency Professor Dr. Karl Müller, the Austrian Ambassador to Cyprus. Karl, in your speech at the inauguration you spoke about the cultural aspect as much as the language. So what would you say to people who are not familiar with German culture? Has it got to offer?
I think it has got to offer a lot of classical poetry and classical prose of many centuries, especially the last 2.5 centuries, I would say, and also a lot of literature which is of more philosophical, economic nature, or sociological. For instance, Hegel, Marx, Schopenhauer, some of the greatest philosophers or founders of ideologies, if you take Marx, have written in German, and they have written in excellent, very good German, which, even though it is complicated language, would be very good to learn, actually, because it's very logical and it lends itself to philosophical thought.
But that is very much what I would call an adult appeal. What about children? Because I would assume that the essence of German Language Week is hoping to get children attuned to the music of the language and therefore interested in both the language and the culture.
Yes, I think that is true. The language, I think, is a beautiful language, and I think the wealth of literature that exists is also very accessible to young people and to children. Even though one can say that German is very useful for technical subjects, for economical studies, there's also a very good approach in children's literature and through children's books, especially for children. There are a few authors who have even specialized in children's literature and who have become quite famous in their own right among all the biggest names, so to speak, of German.
Now, a lot of Cypriot youngsters learn German because they can study for free in Germany. What's the situation if they choose to study in Austria?
It is also free in Austria. You don't pay more than 150 or 300 euros registration fee per year. And there's the additional advantage that there's no numerous clauses, so there's no entrance hurdle concerning the numbers into most study fields connected to your marks which you had at school, finishing school. But one has to say that there are also entrance exams for a few very sought-after studies, like, for instance, medicine. And they are quite forbidding. There needs to be really a proper preparation, and the language also needs to be mastered for these exams. Most studies, you don't have an entrance exam, and you don't have fees.
So, another chance to study not just in Germany, but in Austria, if you get into German Language Month, which is happening for the entire month of November.
Keep up to date with events in Cyprus and around the world with the Cyprus News Digest.
The programme for the current German Language Month has been drawn up by the Cyprus Teachers of German Association, whose president, Andrei Papakyriakou, joins us now. Andrei, this is something that's been going on for a couple of years. What are the priorities when you come to organising an event that I'm assuming you're hoping will appeal to a wide range of young people?
Yeah, I mean, we have been organizing the month of the German language for 6 years now. And I must say that it has been very successful from the beginning. In the first 2 years, we're doing it alone. That means Cyprus Teachers of German Association. And then in the third year, the embassies of the 3 German-speaking countries joined us. That means Germany, Austria, and Switzerland, the countries which have an embassy here in Cyprus. I mean, Liechtenstein is also a German-speaking country, but Liechtenstein doesn't have an embassy here, so it was difficult to take them on board. So the Goethe Institute joined as well, and the Ministry of Education and Culture is a co-organizer as from last year as well. So it's a good team of co-organizers, and we make every effort to put a nice program together. It includes theater, music, not just classical music. Because talking about young people, yes, it was important for us to make sure that young people are involved, because when you want to promote plurilingualism, it's important to make sure that they learn already when they're young that it's important to speak many languages. And when you're plurilingual as a person, you have much more chances for employability.
Particularly now with the EU, of course.
Yes, of course, and this is something they should learn when they're when they're still young.
But that means that it should be on the curriculum at our schools, and our foreign language tutoring in government schools is still very, very limited, isn't it?
Exactly, there is a problem there, because when they have the chance to choose German as a foreign language, it's already too late. So that can be done only in the last 2 years of the Lyceum. That means it's already too late.
Because you're talking about what age kids there?
Well, they're already 16. You know, the first compulsory language in our education, in our system, is English. They start already from the first class of the elementary school. Then the second language, the second compulsory foreign language is added in the first class of the gymnasium, and that's French, and there are no options. So they have to take English, they have to take French, so they can choose a language only when they're 16. That means in the second class of the Lyceum, and they can do that for 2 years. So that's nothing. So if you want to study in Germany or in Austria, you're not ready for your studies, and that's a pity. I think that's one of the weaknesses of our educational system.
It would actually make sense, since it's well known that children absorb languages very readily when they're under 6 or 7 years old.
Yeah.
For the maybe second year of primary school to see an introduction to several different languages, so kids could then choose the ones that they have an ear for.
This is true. This is what we call the early start. And in fact, many countries are introducing now the second language already at the level of the elementary school. Even Greece has done this, actually. So they introduced the second foreign language already at the level of the elementary school. So we're doing a bit later, and not just that, we also don't offer any options. And that's a huge weakness, actually. We're making every effort to engage young people in the activities of the month of German language. We're collaborating with the Minister of Education this year. There is an island-wide competition where pupils work on projects, and we'll have a very nice event on the 22nd of November in Castelliodis Cultural Center. We'll start at 7 p.m. We'll present the projects, and some of them will receive an award. And the Music School of Nicosia and Limassol will participate in the program, so there will be some cultural program as well. So you see, it was important for us, yes, to engage young people on the island, because we want to pass the message that what the member states of the European Union signed in what we call the Barcelona Communique in 2002, where it was noted that trilingualism is important, because that was a message in the Barcelona Communique. Trilingualism was defined there as the minimum requirement for European citizens. So when we talk about trilingualism, I mean, we should all ask ourselves, are we trilingual as European citizens? And that should be even the minimum. I mean, we're talking about the formula, which is mother tongue plus 2 nowadays.
And if you visit Europe, I mean, there are people who speak 5, 6 and 7 languages.
Yeah, of course.
It's quite extraordinary. And so a lot of it's down to an ability to absorb languages. But where can parents find the details of what's happening during German Language Month to maybe take their kids to some of the things they think might appeal, just to introduce them to the sound?
Oh yeah, this is very important. I mean, we have set up a Facebook page for informing people about our activities. So it's, facebook.com and then /Minas Germanikis Glossas. Just go to that Facebook site. You should click on like so that you can become a user, and you'll be receiving updates.
And for people who are not Greek speakers, and there are a lot of them in Cyprus now, is there a website or an English version of the Facebook group so that they can just Google German Language Month in Nicosia?
Oh yes, listen, I mean, the program appears in 4 languages. Okay, it appears in Greek, English, German, and Turkish. And in addition to that, maybe I could mention also the website of Cyprus Teachers of German Association. It's www.z dvbaronline.com.
If people just Google
yeah.
the German Language Teachers Association
Exactly,
in Cyprus,
they will get it easily. And all information appears in 3 languages there. We have it in German, in Greek, and in English.
You can subscribe to the Cyprus News Digest on iTunes for free and get the program downloaded to your phone or tablet so you can listen anytime, anywhere.
Well, it is of course November, and for the last several years in Cyprus, you might be calling it Movember. Why? Because it's the 3rd or is it the 4th year that men have got together to grow facial hair and then shave it off. It's all about awareness for prostate cancer. Chris Yangu joins us from Movember Cyprus to tell us what's coming up. So Chris, 3rd or 4th year?
This is the 4th year actually that we are doing the Movember in Cyprus, and we are glad that we see that many people are involved in our campaign. For this year we have uploaded on Facebook account a program with our activities. In brief, I will just say that we have a shaving event on the 5th of November at the barbershop, which is located at Delphon 18. It will be a local shaving event, so any man who wants to participate and shave themselves, there will be also merchandise there that they can purchase it, so they can assist us with our cause.
But if they shave themselves at the beginning of November, the idea is, I think, that then they don't shave, or at least they grow a moustache until the end of November.
Exactly. The point is that from the beginning of November, they start shaving themselves and they grow a moustache until the end of November. And by the end of November, then anyone can shave again its moustache or leave it with a beard. It's a symbolic, actually.
And do you expect people to maybe post pictures before and after on Facebook and stuff like that? How do you get the word out to people who haven't heard about Movember?
Well, from the different and various activities that we have with live links in various cities, we have medical seminars in all the cities in Cyprus. We inform them about the cause, why we leave the moustache. Of course, the moustache is just symbolic, as I said before, a way to attract people and explain them why we have left the moustache. And of course, from Movember Cyprus account in Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, as well, they can register in the Movember Foundation and can make their own profile and upload their own picture. It's not only about raising funds, it's also about having fun with the cause. It's all about having pictures and be engaged in our events.
And the underlying importance, of course, is making people aware of prostate cancer. Now, in Cyprus, traditionally, we have been very conservative about talking about our bits, particularly men's bits. I don't know if it's a Mediterranean thing. They're pretty closed up about things like problems down there. Is there a way you can measure whether or not Movember over the last several years has made Cypriot men a little bit more open and honest about this?
I believe yes, because from the surveys that we have made in 2009, it shows that men that tried to make the proper test was only 17% of the population in Cyprus. But from the recent surveys that we have made in 2014, it shows that people have started making more and more the examination, up to the percentage of 47, which is a huge increase since 2009. Our cause is that year per year this percentage be to increase and reach even the 100% of all men actually making the test. We believe that with the way that we are promoting Movember, it's a fun way to say something such, let's say, terrible, actually, news about why we are making such things. So all the events are made with a fun way, but on the same time we're giving the message that we need to do our examination on time.
And apart from the examination, it's also important, I imagine, that men understand what the symptoms are.
Yeah.
So what should they be looking out for?
Well, I'm not a doctor actually to give precise what they need to look out to, but I assume that the first symptoms can be found from the PSA test, which is just blood test taken from a clinic or a laboratory actually. Basically, this is the first thing a man can do in order to see whether there are any symptoms which show that they have, let's say, the beginning of the prostate cancer.
And what about men who have had prostate cancer? Are you in contact with perhaps a support group so they can talk to people about the procedures that may be involved? Because I think treatments vary according, first of all, to age. If it's a much older man, very often nothing is done because it can do more harm than good.
Yeah, Movember Cyprus actually supports Europa Uomo, which is the local organization which it's basically men who had already had the prostate cancer, so they had passed the whole procedure. So we call them in the medical seminars and they give their point of view, how they treated the whole situation with the prostate cancer. And they give us also the psychological part of such procedure, which is quite important. As I said, we have medical examination in all over the Cyprus, so people from Europa Uomo will be participants as well, and they can also give their view how they have passed the whole procedure.
So, very briefly, how are we doing for the rest of the month? You've got medical seminars, I think, in all towns. What else is coming up?
We have a Mo Art exhibition in Bafos at Almira Hotel on the 12th of November, where we have provided to many artists 3D moustache, marble moustache, and they are going to decorate them. And basically, it will be an exhibition where you can buy the moustache for the cost. The same, we will have it on the 25th in Nicosia at 8 o'clock at Isnot Gallery. So anyone who wants to see the moustache as well, he can participate. And we have live links in Larnaca this week at 6th of November. We have also a live link at the mall in Nicosia on the 30th of November at 3 o'clock. And eventually we close the whole activities of the month on the 2nd of December, which is the closing party, and we celebrate the completion of our course and the activities.
And that will be taking place at the Carib Mill in Limassol, 2nd of December at 10 p.m. So, Movember, men, wherever you are in Cyprus, clean shave if you didn't already, and start growing your tash.
Get in touch with the Cyprus News Digest by emailing cyprusnewsdigest@gmail.com.
Looking ahead to Sunday, the European Commission representation in Cyprus is holding a special fair entitled Get Connected. It's all happening at the Mall of Cyprus in Nicosia between 2 and 6 p.m. this Sunday. The aim is to help the public become better equipped to take full advantage of the opportunities that the EU offers them. There'll be expert advisors there to offer guidance on a range of subjects like job seeking in the European Union, funding for research and innovation, competitive programmes for media, audiovisual and cultural productions, youth mobility, studying and training, and advice on European social and consumer rights. So there's lots for everybody between 2 and 6 p.m. at that special fair Get Connected at the Mall of Cyprus this Sunday. Coming up on the 19th and 20th of November is the Education UK Exhibition 2016. And it appears that the situation hasn't changed for students who want to study in the UK. Joining us from the British Council, who organised the exhibition, is Pandelitsa Mikhail. So a little history first, if you will, Pandelitsa, about the Education UK Exhibition, because it's a very popular exhibition, I know, among kids coming up to school leaving, among those who've just done their A-levels or are studying for A-levels. What does it offer?
This is one of our most famous and popular events that we organize for the 33rd time this year. Accommodating 66 UK institutions is a great number we haven't had for a long time, however, big events always. And a very, very rich program of seminars taking place during the 2 afternoons. It will offer the opportunity to the visitors to come and get face-to-face information from the universities themselves with free entrance, to get to know more about what UK offers in terms of studies at all levels of study, plus English language courses, and also benefit from attending the seminars on various subjects of study, popular subjects of study, such as music we have business, accounting, health-related studies, and how to prepare a professional portfolio. Plus, we're going to have some seminars this year on studies in Wales, because there's a difference in the fees there that they can find out more about. As well as we've got the opportunity, a great opportunity, to have representation from Universities UK this year, that they will be also delivering seminars to the wider public on a Saturday about studies, fees in the UK, and all the new changes coming up.
Right, now let's talk about fees, because after the Brexit referendum, a lot of people thought, oops, if UK isn't in Europe, then we won't benefit from the reduced fees. What is the situation with that? Because I imagine a lot of people may have thought perhaps the UK isn't, after all, the place to try and go now. If Brexit occurs within the 2 years that it's supposed to, then those students may get caught in their third year.
We are happy enough to announce that nothing has changed so far, and nothing will change, at least for the students entering studies in the UK in 2017. These students going to study to the UK will benefit from the existing home fee, and also from the available loans at both undergraduate and postgraduate levels. The statement reassures that at the moment, students entering in 2017 will also graduate with the same terms and conditions. The same terms and conditions will apply throughout their studies.
So if they start next year, they can be sure that if it's a 3-year course, they will be on the same level until they finish.
Yeah, exactly, with the access to the loan as well until they finish. So, I mean, even if UK is out of EU, students will still continue with the same terms and conditions.
This must be one of the things that a lot of people have asked the British Council since the referendum. What sort of questions have you had to field on this? Because it's only recently that the UK, I think, has come out and assured that, yes, things will stay the same if you've entered the course before we leave.
That's true, actually, and because we haven't had any official update that anything would change of what we normally knew so far, we just reassured everyone since that nothing, no update on any change has come yet. So people were still on hold to see of what was going to happen. So now we're in position to reassure them that they can go ahead and they can continue as they originally planned with their studies in the UK.
And did you notice any drop in applications?
To be honest, no, because as a British Council Education Services team, we act as an application centre as well as a UCAS register centre. And so far, compared to the last year of the number of packs and the number of customers we dealt with, we are at the same level of as we were last year. So the interest remained the same. In the outreach promotional activities and presentations we delivered to schools, there is a great participation and a great interest from both the students and the parents. So we expect to be equally successful as previous years.
And what about the trends in what people are studying now? We went through an era a few years back when everybody wanted to do social sciences or journalism or something like that. What's the current preferred course?
Well, science is at the moment engineering, science-oriented courses, plus law and art. These are the main areas.
And those, of course, will be covered. Let's come back to the UK exhibition, the Education UK exhibition, because it's free entrance. It's running pretty well all day, I think, or all afternoon. Is it 3 until 8:30?
Exactly. And during those hours, we will be having a schedule of seminars different per day, of course, so visitors can make their plan accordingly. It's interesting this year because we have a mobile app where students are encouraged to download either on their Android or their iPhones, so they can have their schedules in front of them with all the universities attending, with details on what they offer, times, date, details of the event, as well as the schedule of seminars. And we also have all the information available in our website, which we encourage people to get there, because they've got the opportunity to pre-register to the event, and in such a way they will also be in a position to win in one of our prizes of discount on IELTS, which is an important exam that they will need to have anyway if they are opting to the UK. Also free packages for preparation material, free counselling for studies in the UK. So we encourage students to get in and pre-register to this event.
And you can do that at www.britishcouncil.com.cy. I assume there's also a link there for downloading that app. You can also give them a call. Their telephone number is 22 585 000. That's the Education UK Exhibition 2016, running at the Hilton Hotel in Nicosia on the 19th and 20th of November. Well, that about wraps up this edition of the Cyprus News Digest. Many thanks for your company. Hope you'll join me next week. Till we meet again, take care and God bless. Bye-bye now.